So as you all may know, this is Betty. Betty is our loaner truck that we lend out to people who have never been RC car before or four driving or anything. So obviously things are going to break. You might have seen in an earlier video that we went, ooh, Wendy the rock wrecker. Well, I went to repair it this morning, and as you can see, Wendy's off the hook because this screw here has unwound itself, and the only reason it's still there is because it's hit the rim, which caused this to tear out of its mounting place. So kudos to Wendy, but you will still be forever known as Wendy the rock wrecker. Earlier video today we built a new differential and we shall install it now so that you can see the modified steering brackets. So this morning we're going to address the broken Betty. Yes, Wendy, you didn't really break it, it was just one of those things. So we are going to replace it with this, and while we're at it we're going to talk about steering. Everybody complains that they're ready to run. Rock crawler hasn't got very good steering. It hasn't got very good steering because this little tab gets this little screw. Now when you turn it that way, it has much more steering. I can demonstrate that by showing you that if this side turns across, look how much steering you've lost. Because of these bump stops. I don't know why the manufacturer did that. We're going to address that in a moment with this, but I am going to stop the video here and re-edit it because this is quite loud. You could do this with a file or with sandpaper, but if you've got a Dremel, this will be great. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this tab. No, it will not destroy your car. So we've marked out our diff. As you can see, that mark now just misses the crown wheel housing, and this one just misses. So to get that tiny little bit, we're going to remove and bend this shaft. Now, if you just stick it in your big fat maul hands and bend it in the middle, it's not going to do what you want. Like I said, these aren't hard jobs, these are technical jobs. So this is my choice of bending this shaft. I'm going to place this in the vise, bend slightly that way, then I'm going to put that end in, and I'm going to bend it slightly that way. So in comparison to bending the shaft, here's an original shaft, and here is our modified shaft. So there's no gap between the plastic and the orange metal. Now there is a 3mm gap either side, they screw out. The reason for that is this now has to travel a further distance to be the same length. It is known as a radial arc. I will fit that to the steering and I'll show you how it all works. So with both sides of our axles and steering machined out, we have now shifted the focus of the steering lock from here to the diff center. And if you watch, you can just see a little bit of air. So you've gained a lot of steering, but hey, let's go all the way and get all the steering. So what we're going to need to do is lock it this way, mark probably 3mm past the diff housing, mark this one 3mm past the diff housing, and then we're going to bend it, and I'll show you how to do that shortly, and that will give you maximum steering. You got good steering now, but we'll get better steering. So you can see it actually impacts this, which is nothing. It's just not impacting here any longer. It's impacting here. So now, in comparison, after we've removed that tab, this moves in much, much further than this one. Now, the reason why the manufacturer put that there was so that this shaft did not impact the diff housing. I'll show you shortly how to overcome that. You will need to bend this shaft. It's not hard, it is technical. Now, by shortening the shaft, you primarily shorten it. But as you see, these wind out. They don't move much, but if you wind them out, you could wrap a little bit of tape around them. As you can see, if we tried to fit that now, we've lost a couple of mil, which on a 10th scale truck equates to quite a few inches of steering. This will steer much further than this. I'll do the next step and then I'll get back to you. So now, as you see, we've got full steering onto those bump stops with no way of touching the pinion housing. Now, somebody might put this back in their car and go, oh, the little bull bar touches. We'll get to that. That is how you get maximum steering for free out of your RTR. Now, anything that drags on the steering is dragging on your servo. People, oh, you've got to put a bigger servo in, oh, blah, blah, blah. Rubbish. The trick being is that any of these screws, like this one, is dragging on the steering. Now, if you start filling all this up with grease, what's going to happen is you go play in the dirt and it's just going to grind all your components away. So, here's the trick. Everybody says, as soon as you get one of these RTRs, go through and tighten the screws. Sort of. This is what I do. It's only into plastic. Give it a fraction of a turn out. Not tighter, out. Just a touch. I do that on all four of them. Okay. And just for want of a word, I'll tighten up one. That's only a fraction of a turn. And in any maintenance, you want to check all your screws occasionally. Like any vehicle, things fall apart. We'll install this in the car and then compare that to a standard steering, and I'll show you how my mods work. So my rock hammer that I've so wanted desperately, only one complaint. The body's a little bit difficult to open and close. That's not that big a deal, except they mounted the switch, on-off switch, in there. So you have to open the body every single damn time. So all I did was pop it off with a screwdriver, hot glue gun, and I am going to attach it here. Now somebody might say, oh yeah, but the tyres will throw up water in there. I don't run my cars in water. Simple as that. I might build one at some stage to go through water, but this ain't it. So that's where the switch will be, and you can turn it on and off.